kayaYasharaal, Ahshar Shabbath, Thawadah Yahweh, Lakal Tawab Yawam, Thawadah Yahweh, Latapar, Wasapar, Walayad, Yasharaal Banat, Thawadah Yahweh, Lakal, Thawadah Yahweh, Isaiah, Iray Walam, Nagashaka, Abanawa, Yasharaal, Thawadah, kayaYasharaal, Bahasham, Hamashak, Thawadah Yahweh. That is to say, good morning and happy Shabbat, Israel. We thank the Most High for this beautiful day, this good day. We thank Him for His word in this book. We thank the Most High for being our help. We thank Him for protecting our souls and being our help forever and being the seed of Israel, the house of Israel, the descendants of Israel. We thank the Most High graciously. It is a pleasure to be on this morning. Today is the day of rest. I intended to be on here last night, but I got into the Chamber of Gospels, particularly John. And after about 2 chapters, I was knocked out. I was knocked out. I was knocked out, y'all. It was over. It was over. It was over. But I slept very well and I woke up very early and just couldn't believe the graciousness of the Most High, the beauty of the Lord. And I couldn't contain it. It was time to get up. And I'm like, I'm ready to get in this word. So I'm gracious to the Most High to be on today. I would like to go ahead and timestamp this day with you all. It is the seventh day of the work week, so we all know that it is the day of rest. We are supposed to be ceasing all manner of work and resting. Okay. It is the 19th day of the first month of the Hebrew year. So glory be to the Most High and gracious to the Lord. We are in the month of the Feast of Unleavened Breads of the Passover. So if you are celebrating the last day of your Feast of Unleavened Breads, glory be to the Most High that you and your congregations and those that you congregate with made it through the Feast of Unleavened Breads with no leaven in your temple, spiritually or naturally, and that you also abstained from consuming any leaven spiritually and naturally. So glory be to the Most High. And if you're anything like myself, tomorrow will be your last day celebrating the Feast of Unleavened Breads. So glory be to the Most High that we made it, that we were able to indulge in this sacred memorial, giving thanks to the Lord for saving us from our bondage, from the captivity of Egypt, and passing over our firstborn sons, and smiting the firstborn of the Egyptians, including their cattle. So glory be to the Lord. Gregorian time stamp keeping. Today is April 27th of 2024 AD. It's 10:54 a.m. Central Standard. It is about 74 degrees Fahrenheit. Not too cold, not too hot. A little humid because it did rain. There was a aerial flood watch. There was a tornado watch. There was a thunderstorm watch. There was a lot going on yesterday, and I slept all through it, you all. So glory be to the Lord. Today is Saturday. So we want to go ahead and jump right back into the Chamber of Wisdom. We left off in the book of Proverbs in chapter 31. Our last verse of consumption for that evening was verse 9. We're going to pick up in verse 10. I'm very excited, very, very excited. Got to get comfortable and get ready for this because I may get amped up. I don't want to get too loud, but I know I am very excited to finish this particular teaching. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get comfortable in my chair. I can't bring it up too high because it hurts the back of my knees for some reason. And then being too low, it's like I'm so close to the ground. But I'm very excited, right? I'm very excited for this teaching and I'm very excited to get it done. But as mentioned, we are going to be in Proverbs chapter 31. We're going to pick up in verse 10. And I will be reading some of the notes that I've noted in my scriptures. So don't mind me if I'm looking down. It's not because of lack of confidence or nervousness. It's because I'm looking and I'm trying to read to make sure I'm giving you all everything that I was given. All right. So let's start in verse 10 in the book of Proverbs, chapter 31, which reads, "Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies." This verse It sets the foundation on the invaluable value of a virtuous woman. You understand? It's explaining to you how valuable a virtuous woman is. She has been likened unto a stone that you have to dig and toil for. This is not a stone that you'll just find by moving the dirt a little bit. You have to dig for rubies. You got to dig for them. You got to go deep and dig for them. There are some where you get the dust and the mite and the mud and the thick dirt off, and it's not a ruby. You got to keep going. You know, you're getting blisters on your hands. You know what I'm saying? Probably done cut yourself a few times, getting sunned, bronzed, not sunburned, but bronzed by the sun. You are hot, you sweating. This is a woman that you have to toil to find. She's been likened unto rubies. So let me read my note here. It says, I have it wrote down as this verse begins to break the ice in setting the foundation and understanding the likes of a virtuous woman. She's highly valuable and likened to a stone you have to labor for. Same thing I just said. It looks like my mind already had it down. So I wanted to come over here to a verse found in Proverbs in chapter 18 in verse 22. So chapter 18 verse 22 of Proverbs reads, Whoso findeth a wife findeth a good thing and obtaineth favor of the Lord. So you have to understand that in finding a wife, this man has favor in the Most High. But not only favor in the Most High, he has worked hard to get her, right? The Most High is not going to just give you a virtuous woman. The Most High is not going to give you a woman that's striving to attain, who is aspiring to attain being a virtuous woman. That's not just given to you. So this is something that you have to toil for. You got to find her. I want to look up the word find. In a basic Merriam-Webster's dictionary, this one here is Oxford, and it reads find, which is a verb, so it's something you have to do, it's an action. It means to discover or perceive by chance or unexpectedly. Understand? It also says recognize or discover something to be present. And it also says a discovery of something valuable, typically something of archaeological interest. I like that last particular defining of find. I want to read it again. It says a discovery of something valuable, typically something of archaeological interest. So a a virtuous woman is an interest of an Israelite man. An Israelite man, especially an Israelite man partaking in the practice of the Israelite customs according to the scriptures, strives to find a woman who is attaining to this rank or this role or this label of virtuous woman. It is a good thing when a man finds a wife who is like himself, who's like minded, of one mind, no opposition. We understand the same thing. I know what you're thinking before you say it. I know what you want before you tell me. Even when we are sitting there in silence, we are communicating. He trusts you with his heart, that's with his mind. You bring life to the very marrow in his bones. Do we know what marrow is, my people? It's that thick composite of the red blood cells that are in your bones. Let's read it. Y'all know I love definitions. Marrow, it's a soft, fatty, vascular tissue in the interior cavities of bones that is a major site of blood cell production. The inmost or essential part, it's to pierce to the marrow of a problem, strength, or vitality. That's marrow. So, marrow is a necessity in the natural body. So, how much more in the spiritual? So, to attain a virtuous woman as a man, It's something glorious and honorable in the sight of the Lord. And you found honor in the Most High. You are favored in the Most High if you find a virtuous woman. You have to take goodly care of her. She's likened unto a ruby, a stone that you have to work hard to find. So it's not that you work hard to find her and then begin to treat her like some pebble, right? Or like some rock that was composed of mud, and I'm sorry, that has been composed of mud, that has become a rock from the composition of mud, of dirt and water. Or that hard rock that's made of dirt that you think is a rock, but you can crumble it. You don't work hard and toil hard to attain a virtuous woman, and you attain this virtuous woman, and then you begin to treat her like something in myriad waters. You have honor in the most high, I apologize, favor in the most high as a man when you find it a virtuous woman. But who can attain her? Who can find her? It's a big responsibility for a man to have a virtuous woman. You have a lot of care to take of her. She is a helpmeet like unto yourself. She is indeed irreplaceable. You're not going to find her anywhere else. And to the sisters, it is an honor to work toward attaining the label of a virtuous woman. It's not easy being a virtuous woman. It's not easy working toward attaining being a virtuous woman. If I have any sisters that used to partake in the world, maybe your dress was not as modest as it is now. Maybe your speech is not as modest and coming as it is, or as becoming as it is now. Maybe the way that you carry yourself, used to carry yourself, is not like it is now. It is a very challenging thing, but it's a work in progress in the attempt to attain being a virtuous woman. It's not something that you can put down the plow on. It's likened unto the verse where it says, the man that put his hand to the plow. Let's look it up just a second. I want to just look it up. That man that put his hand to the plow and look it back is not meant for the kingdom. I apologize here. It shows that it's in Luke 9:62. And I could have turned to it. I just didn't want to waste too much time. Yes. This is Luke chapter 9, verse 62. And it says, and Yahweh Shai said unto him, no man having put his hand to the plow and looking back is fit for the kingdom of the Most High. That's the same thing with a woman who is pursuing attaining the label virtuous woman. You've changed the way you dress. You're modest in your dress now. You're not showing your assets because you know that your assets, they fail. They'll fail the older that you get. You've changed your speech, the way that you carry yourself. You're learning things that are goodly for your hands, that will make you an actual helpmeet if you are taken on as a wife, how you can contribute to the home. But then you get that good man, you get that Israelite man, you get that God-fearing man, and you've attained what you were looking for in the flesh. You've got it. And then you don't want to continue your drive or your aspiration in attaining the label of virtuous woman. It's a job on both sides. It's not just one-sided. We can read this chapter in Proverbs as a woman and it be directed at just you, but the scriptures in totality is for us both. And I mean that in a sense of male and female. It's not just for the males. Even when it says man, it's speaking mankind, man as the nation, because we know that Israel is the firstborn son of the Most High God, of Israel. But Israel is made up of Israelite women as well. When the transatlantic slave trade occurred, it wasn't just men on that slave ship. We was over there being brought with you too. So these commandments, this law, these words, the things of old that we are reading and referring to make sure that we are walking in the way of, is not just for the men. Sister, it's for you too. I don't care if it don't specifically say woman, sister, girl, female. It's for you too. So when we read this chapter, you can bash it over her head all day long. You need to read it. It seemed like you shone in this chapter. But how much is it going to assist you as well? You have to remember that these are the words of King Lemuel, the prophecy that his mother taught him. So this is a mother teaching her son. So it's not only just for a woman to learn. It's for you as a man as well. So we have to both eat of the meat of this bone. You understand? Or the meat of this word. I don't care how bitter it is to the stomach. Let's continue. Verse 11, it says, "The heart of her husband doth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil." That's important, sister. It's important that when you become an Israelite wife, that your husband's heart, his mind, is able to trust in you, to be confident in you. You're supposed to be his number one confidant. He is supposed to come to you for motivation, to be told, baby, you are brilliant in all your endeavors. To be his pillar, to support him, to keep going. You're not supposed to be the thing that abaseth his courage. You are supposed to push that man to be the greatest that he can be, because he is a king upon earth. He is a king walking alongside servants that are on horses. You got to remember that. He should be able to trust in you. It don't matter how far he go, how long he's away, what he got to take care of. When he come back, you ain't supposed to be different. Unless it be in a good way. Unless you have enhanced or inclined in your spirit, inclined in understanding. He left, went, let's just say, for example, you have a traveling husband that travels for work. He's been gone for 60 days. When he left, you barely knew how to fry chicken. He got back, you frying the mess out that chicken. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. But it's not a good thing when he left you and come back. In worst case scenario, let's say, he haven't laid with you for 2 months and you 2.5 months pregnant. That's not a good thing. You're not supposed to change on that man. You are supposed to be of one mind. When those two become one flesh from the very act of sexual intercourse, y'all are supposed to be one, of one mind, not just one body. It's deeper than just, excuse my language, it's deeper than just fucking. What makes you any different from the people in the world? Don't worry, I'll wait. Please tell me, what makes you any different from the people in the world if that's your only mindset? It's deeper than him just inserting his penis into your vaginal opening. Y'all have to be one up here. And in spirit, on one accord. He can't be tugging you to the left and you tugging to the right. He can't be steering to the right and you trying to steer it to the left. He can't be trying to push on the gas but you pumping on the brakes. Girl, you got to sit back and let that man drive. You got to be confident in the man that the Most High has given you. Now, I'm not saying be stupid or foolish. That's not what I'm saying. Because we know that 2/3 of us will be purged, will be destroyed. So we know a lot of men and women are not in this truth for sincerity, in the pleasing of the Most High, in the worship of the Lord, in the keeping of the commandments, which is the whole duty of man. You have some men that are really just in this walk because they want to be with multiple women without feeling bad and having their conscience eaten or shunned in the world. You have some women that just want to be taken care of and be lazy, don't want to do anything, or be home wreckers, and you hide it behind polygyny. That's why it's important to discern the spirits. We've been given the spirit of discernment. That's why it's important to prove a friend, court that individual. So it's not to say to be stupid, be foolish. The devil can send you someone as well, but you know them by their fruits. But if this is the man that you have chosen to lay down with, you have to learn how to be led with this man, by this man, my apologies. Now, that's not to say if he messing up, that you supposed to sit back and still follow. Okay, well, he over here stealing, I guess I steal too. Girl, you know it ain't right. So don't do it. There are times and occasions where we have to also be able to turn to the scriptures to correct our husbands, because we can't usurp authority over them. You can't. It's the Most High God, Yahawashi, man, woman, child. So we can't usurp authority. The only way that you can correct your man is by opening up this book and the scriptures and showing him this word. Because then what can he do? Oppose what the word of the Lord says? So it's not like you didn't do your part. And once you've done your part, the Most High sees that and he will hold him accountable. Same way Nabal was held accountable for the things that he had done into his wife. Well, not necessarily to his wife, but being a selfish man, being a quote unquote a bad man, being exactly what his name meant. You'll be held accountable. His wife was in a horrible marriage, I could only imagine. A marriage where she was unhappy. But she kept the law, stayed righteous, and ended up being taken as a wife to King David. So I circle back to say, it is important that the mind of your husband safely trust in you. You are the only thing that he has. Do you think this man want to be out there dealing with all of these heathens that we have been encompassed around about, warring with the adversary's fleshy arm, and then come back and be going to war with his woman? No. No. You are supposed to be a delight to him. When he come in, it should smell sweet in here. It should smell like fresh cooked food in here. With a hint of if you use fabuloso. If you use pine salt, a little hint of pine salt, because you know she's been in there cleaning up. I like putting a few, capfuls of some bleach up in there. You know it's sanitized and clean. Walking to the mirror because he go into the bathroom and it's streak free because you done cleaned it with some newspaper. Clean clothes. Children in order. The children's face is greasy. It's a sign of a mother that loves her children. The face is greasy. Children not jumping all on dad. And it's okay for the children to sport with their father. That's their father. But you have to take these things into account when this man is entering into this home. This is his kingdom when he come in. And you treat him as such. So his heart, his heart, he has to trust in you. Because just like you gave yourself to him, he's given himself to you. A lot of us coming into this faith from out of the world, we think that it's only about pleasing a woman or the woman, or well, I laid myself down, I opened myself up to him. How much more him opening himself into you? We forget because we weren't taught how to take into consideration our men. The men were taught how to treat a woman. Open the door for her. Pull out her chair when it's time to sit down to eat. Walk her to her door. Make sure she gets in safely. Walk on the outside of the street so if something occurs, it happens to you. If water splashes up, the water splashes you and not her, etc., etc., etc. But what really were we taught about men as women growing up? I hate to say it, but I say it in sincerity. I did not know that men had feelings. I didn't. And I grew up with 4 brothers. I have 5 brothers, but I grew up with 4 of them. And I didn't know that men had feelings. I heard one of my brothers, blood brothers, cry for the first time ever in my life. And it brought so much anguish to my spirit. And then it was like, imagine some gears grinding. You know what I'm saying? They not grinding, but they, moving smooth. But with the thought process of my gears moving smooth, men don't have feelings. Men don't have feelings. Men don't have feelings. A male crying. Whoa. It just like grinded. I'm like, whoa. What? They have feelings too. They get sad. They get disappointed. Yo, men cry, sisters. They cry. They probably don't cry in front of you. Us, they cry. We have to understand that it takes a lot of learning how to learn men, but to learn our men. Our men are just as sacred as we are. They're just as delicate as we are. So you have to take out the time to understand just as you're giving yourself to him, so too is he giving himself to you. A lot of men in the world may not care who they lay themselves down to, but a sincere man in the faith, in this truth that's walking this walk, he does. Just like you getting naked in front of someone, it's like, oh my God, like, I hope that this is good or this is right. I hope he doesn't, take advantage of me and, just sleep with me and he doesn't love me no more. How much more the man? Especially those that are sincere about their intentions toward you, that have possibly been played by women that dogged them in the world. You don't think he probably had those thoughts too? Oh my God, I hope that I don't lay with this woman and then she end up being a wicked woman, being a dragon, and I'm unhappy. All I want to do is make her happy. And the way that I know possible with what I have. You don't think they had those thoughts too? Now, probably not as feminine as I said, just a minute ago, because I'm not a man. I don't have a man's mind, the testosterone of how they would speak it, but they have those thoughts as well. You learn while you're in this faith. And I have to say, I have to divert and say that that is why a lot of men in this faith are as that's why I believe that a lot of men in this faith are as strong willed as they are. Because it's like now you've learned your heritage, you know who you are. Now you know the importance of who you are. And I don't have to take one woman treating me like this or that. I can even be with multiple women. Think about that. It's like the flip of how women are glamorized, glorified in this world here that will be destroyed. Thank the Lord God of Israel. in the name of his only begotten son. Just how we are glorified in this world and looked at like we're on top of the world, and we be walking around with our head held high, chin up, back arch, hand on your hips. You know what I'm saying? Attitude, waving of the neck, doing all of that. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm the SHIT, the sugar honey iced tea. How much more on the right side? Gotta be a little bit patient with them. They're learning themselves. They didn't know. And it's a fulfilling thing. It's a glorious thing when they find out, oh my gosh, I mean something. Think about the years, the generations in which our men, not any other man on this earth, but our men have took being considered as nothing, mistreated by their women. You even have some women that just want your kids for some welfare or a child support check or WIC or whatever other governmental assistance, using your children as pawns or as accessories. Think about how lifted they feel. I'm not justifying it, but I can say I understand it. I can sincerely say I genuinely understand it. It's like they be on high about who they are for the first 2 to 4 years of them being active in the truth. It's like a bachelor's degree that they're attempting to attain. And you gotta be patient with them. Now, I'm not saying be stupid, but I'm saying this is the logic that I have picked up on, especially sitting back and realizing a lot of the things that I have realized with the brothers in this truth. That's just me being honest. I understand it though. I really do. Because not to say that we as women are not important, but I have literally taken out the time to really, I'm sitting here now and I look at my brothers trying to learn them. I really want to learn them because when the Lord does give me to a goodly man, I want to be able to take good care of him. Oh my gosh. I want to take good care of him. It says, in addition to that, it says, so that he shall have no need of spoil. Now we know because our Lord God of Israel, Yahweh, the Most High, is a man of war. This is speaking about the things that occur in war. What happens in war, sisters? What is spoil in war? You have, possessions. You have gold, you have jewelry, you have, whatever, the cattle, the land, the provinces. It becomes yours. It's a spoil. But in addition to that, what else is a spoil? A woman. A woman. He can take that woman right along with him. You going home with me. She look good. Oh, she coming home with me. I'm gonna cut you bald, par your nails. You coming home with me after you get that 30 days of mourning, and according to the law, you coming home with me. But you be the virtuous woman that his heart trust in, doth safely trust in. He ain't gonna even have no need for no spoil. I take the jewelry, the few of the cattle, this right here. I don't need that woman. Because I know when I go back home to mine, she's everything that I need. Everything. And then to the brothers, for her to be able to be that one who you are able to be that one that your heart does trust in, you have to show her. You got to be patient with her. You can't expect her to just know right off the bat because most times it's not going to be like that. It ain't going to be like that. You have to teach her. You're her guidance now, her leader. She belongs to you. You are the steward over this jewel, over this stone. It doesn't come easy. We are all literally relearning how to be an Israelite. Come over here to not Proverbs, my apologies. Romans chapter 12. And y'all should already know where I'm going. Romans 12:2. It says, "And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God." We are literally unlearning what we have learned for generations at a time. It's not going to be easy. It's a challenge. But that's what makes this walk so beautiful. You got to prepare your soul for temptation, and you got to gird up your loins, and you can't be trying to make haste and run when it start getting hot. You got to stand in that fire and know that you're going to come out with no smoke, no stench. You ain't going to be missing no hair, no nothing. You're going to be just fine. Your sandals ain't going to be ruined. Clothes ain't going to be tattered. You're going to get your manna. You're going to get your water. You're going to be just fine. You got to stand in it, because just like gold is tried in a furnace of fire, so too a man in the furnace of affliction, in the furnace of adversity. You got to stand through it. We are literally learning how to be a man and a woman. And it's not easy. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the worldly understanding is that it takes 21 days to unlearn something that you have learned, which is why it's such a complicated thing to learn something. Then you got to unlearn it to relearn it correctly. It's like the rebooting, or I apologize. It's like um pertaining to a computer. If anyone is IT or technical savvy, you know how it is when you have to basically download and compose your computer, your PC, and the CPU of all of this information, and then come to find out there's better information that will, top this information. So now you got to put in all of these codes and D this and D that, you know what I'm saying? And got to undo it, and so it can get, that's what we're doing. We're like computers that have been downloaded with all this filth for generations. And now we got to unlearn it. So we got to be patient with each other. That is a fruit of the spirit. Patience. You can't expect me to know off the top how to treat you, how to be toward you. I don't know you. Just like I can't expect you to know me and how to treat me, because you don't know me. But that's the importance of getting to know someone, proving someone before you credit them, and learning that person. And you know what the biggest instruction is, the biggest manual, the biggest blueprint is this. This. This is how we learn one another. Because if we are all on one accord learning this law and trying to abide in this law, we know. You're going to know how to treat this person. Now, that may be a few things here and there that she may not like, and that's just personal preferences. But as long as you are keeping this law, you are doing right by him and you're doing right by her. So, as previously mentioned once before, it's not just to the women that this verse or these verses in this book, in this chapter, are being referenced to. It's to the men as well. So we're going to reread verse 11 and move down to verse 12. Verse 11 says, "The heart of her husband doth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil." Verse 12, "She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life." Now, we got to understand, sisters, this is not limited to just your actions toward this man. Think about the thoughts that you may have when he, quote unquote, pisses you off, because they do that. It's going to happen. The scriptures literally say, "Be ye angry and sin not." So it's not to say that we're never going to be upset with each other, that you're never going to make me upset, piss me off, disappoint me, frustrate me. We literally two different people. Yeah, we the two have become one flesh, one mind, but we still have these diversities about ourselves, because you are a man and I am a woman. You got to think about the things that you think about this man that can change your countenance in the face of this man. And you can't do no evil to this man all the days of your life. If you're one of those sisters that get to cussing him out, trying to abase his courage, talk down on him to make him feel bad about himself, feel bad about his situation, you did evil to your man. But see, the good thing about it, The Most High winketh at our ignorance. But now he required that we turn away from our sin. And after you know, there's no more sacrifice for sin. So if you did it in ignorance, now you know. If you keyed his car because you pissed off at him, you did him evil in his life, in some of the days of your life. Don't do it no more. This particular verse falls under the understandings that come with this verse, fall under loving thy neighbor as you love yourself. If you know that you don't want to be disregarded in a certain aspect or in a certain manner or circumstance or situation, how much more your other half? Do you understand what I'm saying? So again, it says she will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. This is all the way down to your emotions toward him, your thoughts toward him, your actions toward him. Don't do that man no evil. He deals with it enough outside. I know it's easier said than done. I know. Believe me, I know. It's way easier said than done. But as long as you are being righteous, the Most High will recompense that vengeance upon that brother. If that be what it need. If that is what is needed, I apologize. The Most High see that you are still being righteous, still following this law, still doing what is right by this law and by that man that you have been given unto. He will correct him. I'm gonna get a little personal, just a quick second. I was in a relationship for about a year. This past year, about a year ago, something like that. And when I tell you that man dogged me the hell out, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, that man dogged me the hell out. And he said, quote unquote, I'm going to make you look like a head case to everyone. And when he said that, I remember sitting in that room, sitting on the edge of that bed, just looking at that wall in disbelief, like, how in the hell did I get in this situation? What the hell am I learning from this situation? What do I need to learn in this situation? What do I do? He had everyone around thinking that I was some wicked woman. Mm-hmm. To the point to where they were calling me a wicked woman. And there's no wickedness. I'm not saying that I don't do anything that's bad. Not saying that. But wicked, I'm not wicked. I'm not intentionally doing evil things. I may mess up. You know what I'm saying? I get pissed off, may say something. Okay, I gotta be angry and saying that, you know. But he tried to make me look really bad, my people. Oh gosh. It was the things he did though. The things that he did. And then when I had it because I was just being poked for so long, I would blow up. But you're not supposed to teach your wife the wife of your bosom, an evil thing against you. The scriptures tell you that. Oh, he loved doing that. And then I'd be sitting there, Lord, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have blown up like that. I shouldn't have said that. Be upset. But you know what happens when you continue to follow in the law and do what you know is right to your brother? Even if they doing wrong to you, you heap burning coals upon their head by continuing to be kind, for one thing. And as long as you keep in the law, the Most High will see you, for one thing. And you find joy in the thing that the Most High find joy in, which is righteous judgment. And I waited and I waited and I waited. And he pulled me right out of that situation. But not only did he do that, the woman that the brother's dealing with now, she's like telling everybody, I hope that they see what he's doing to me and now know that his ex is not crazy. She wasn't crazy. She wasn't crazy. He does do this. He does do that. He does do this and this and this and this. And all I could do was sit back and give thanks to the Most High. I was thankful. Because you have brothers out there, like I said, that's 2/3 of us are going to be destroyed. You have men out there that will work overtime to destroy you as an Israelite woman. to make dirty, blemish your garments, because they know the patriarch respect in this walk. They know how man are reverenced more than women in this walk, and they will go overtime just to destroy you. Because literally, what are you more than a mere woman? But just like Suzanne was rendered righteous judgment, and those men were given the judgment that they wanted to give unto her, they were given death like they tried to give unto her, so too will the Most High do that for you. You just got to know how to scream when the law say to scream. For those who have ears, you'll hear. Let them hear. But, and I circle back to say to the men, this is not to say that you mistreat that woman. You treat her like crap. You like a like a angry lion around that home. And then you threaten her, well, I'll go get another wife. You treat her like crap. Don't show her anything, not leading her correctly. And then you dangle that polygyny over her head. That fearful thing over her head. The thing that she's, let's say, not fearful, but that thing that causes an internal contention for her over her head. That's evil. You don't teach the wife of your bosom an evil thing against you. That's not right. This chapter is not just for the women. Let's move on down to verse 13. It says, she seeketh wool and flax and worketh willingly with her hands. This is just simple and self-explanatory as it sounds. You got to be able to work with your hands, sister. You got to be able to work with your hands. It's not about, ew, my hands going to get dirty. Oh my God, I'm going to break my nails. Oh, I just got my nails done. You got to be able to work with these here. And if you're anything like me, you got long nails. My nails naturally grow long. Do I look like I want to break my nails? Because it takes about a month and a half to 2 months for them to get long again. I just broke these 3 last night. And this one broke all the way down here, so I had to cut it. But you have to be able to work willingly with your hands. Your husband shouldn't come home and be like, baby, are you gonna cook? I wanted a home cooked meal. I want something from scratch. Can you bake me a fresh fluffy cake? A chocolate, I like that chocolate cake with the little garnish that they be putting on, so I like that. Gotta willingly work with your hands. Are you willingly in there cooking, kneading dough? I love baking me some homemade bread. That's my cousin. My cousin used to sit there and I made a whole carrot cake from scratch. Remember, cousin? I was in there shaving the carrots, and she just right here at the bar. She just sitting there just watching. I was in there. She'll tell you I was in that kitchen all day. Literally from sun up to sundown, all day, cooking breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and a dessert. Because she was leaving that day, I wanted to make sure I left her with some dessert. She watched me make a whole cake from scratch, breakfast from scratch, and tell them, because was that kitchen dirty afterwards? That kitchen was clean. You got to willingly work with your hands. You need to be in here cleaning up. Clean up. Wash the clothes. Fold the clothes. Cook some food. Go sew some garments. Go be a seamstress. Sew some curtains together. Draw a picture. Write some poems. Write a book. I'm not saying that now I got to learn how to write poetry. I got to learn how to write a book. No. These are things that you can willingly do with your hands. I love learning. As you can see here on the walls, with this here, Ibaya, our language. I like writing little notes on the wall, leave them on the wall. Y'all know I'm in the midwife practice. Looky here, the female reproductive system. And that back there, all of the body systems right up on the wall. And I'll be drawing it. I have clay where I construct the pelvis so that when I'm like working with it, I know how you got to willingly work with your hands. I love clay. I got some clay that gets hard at the, by the air. And because of the practice that I take up, I'm working on constructing a pelvis, making my own instead of purchasing one off of Amazon. That way, when I'm making it, okay, here's the sacrum, here's the cockatiel, here's the the tuberosities. You know, I know those bones by heart because I'm working on them. So when I'm not working on them with my hands, I can still see it in my mind. There's this understanding that I gained in the world that you remember 80% of what you write down. So I kind of assume and put that all and tie that to the willingness of your hands. If I'm doing it with my hands, I'll remember. You understand? So you got to be able to willingly work with your hands. The things that come along with working with your hands, a garden, you got to be willing to be down there pulling up weeds. Yo, do you know how fulfilling it is to have a garden? I grew up with guardians that had a garden. I remember we would be out there sun up to sundown. That sun be beaming and beating you down like a Hebrew slave. But it's like the reward that comes from it. Yeah, you're gonna be tired. I guarantee you're gonna be tired because the sun is beating you down. But you get in and you take you a bath and you go hit that bed. That's the best sleep you ever have. But it's like knowing that you know what's going into what you are about to consume and put into your body. We was out there with the hoe, with the shovel and whatever other tools, with the hand shovel down there picking up the weeds and that real fat white bug that be curled up, and then you dig the little hole and put it back in because you don't want to kill. Well, we didn't kill the bugs, it wasn't right. You know what I'm saying? Like they ain't do nothing, but put it back in the hole, in the hole. You know how fulfilling it is to have a garden. And then you pick that big old sweet potato that's about bigger than your head, and that big old red pepper. You eat and chew into it. It's so crunchy and juicy, but it unburns your soul because it's so hot. It's an amazing thing. You have to want to willingly work with your hands, sister. It's not about trying to look good and your nails looking like this and looking now like that. I'm not saying, I'm sorry, I like disrupted myself, but I am not saying that you're not supposed to be presentable and not care about your appearance. That's not what I'm saying. Walking around looking ratchet hands, that's not what I'm saying. What I am saying, you can't be so Babylonian minded. We are from the east wind. We ain't from where you can go walk up in no store with no grocery cart or a buggy or a basket, whatever you call it, and just go get the stuff off the shelf. And no, we come from a line of royal people where the women prepare the calf so that the brothers can eat, so her husband can eat, her children can eat. That's where we come from, and you got to get back to that because that's what we're going back to. So it's better that you prepare now instead of waiting until it's too late. So again, the scripture says in verse 13, she seeketh wool and flax and worketh willingly with her hands. You got to work with your hands. And brothers, this goes for you too. Not saying that y'all don't willingly work with your hands. This is not to say that you be complainsive about what she's doing with her hands. If you know this woman just now learning how to cook, because, and I'm not talking about no woman, no, none of the women, but there are really some women that don't know how to cook. Then you come into this faith and you learn what it's about and learn how the role that you have to take, and now you learning how to cook. That's not to say when you see she's willingly working with her hands, you down her, talk bad about her. This food nasty. Ugh, my garment falling off while I'm walking. No, you give thanks, you give her praise for trying and keep motivating her and pushing her because you see that she's doing it. We gotta both play our role, people. We coming up on almost an hour, so I got about 6 minutes here. Depending upon the Lord, we may stop at like an hour, but I don't want to go past an hour. But let's move on to verse 14. It says, she is like the merchant's ships. She bringeth her food from afar. We just got done talking about that. The luxuries of having a garden. You need to be able to have you have to have food. You got to be like unto a merchant. You got to love your food from afar. I'm sorry, that did not make sense. She is like the merchant ship. She bringeth her food from afar. You have to enjoy bringing your food from afar. You have to enjoy the luxuries of goodly food. You know what I'm saying? Me personally, when it comes to my food, because contrary to popular belief, I am a foodie. I like food. You know what I'm saying? I like some good old food. I don't just eat any food. This is not to downplay anyone that shops here, but like Walmart, Aldi, places like that, I will not set foot in there. I'm sorry, I won't. I like places like Nature's Garden or Nature's Grocery. sometimes the Whole Foods for specific things. I like to shop, quote unquote, where the white folks is shopping because I know the produce is gonna be good. They not just throwing them some BS in there. They not doing the experiments on them. So I like to shop there. So I'm gonna go afar to obtain my food. And Lord willing, when I get married and when I begin to bring forth seed, my children and my husband are gonna eat goodly foods. And I'm gonna make sure they have fresh food every day. Every day. And Lord willing, we have land by then. So I'm out there going to the, hey, go pick me an onion. I need an onion for this dish. Go pick an onion and a sweet potato. And give me that pepper that you see on the side right there too. And go pull an apple from the tree. I want to be able to do that. I need a lemon from the lemon bush for this lemonade. I want to be able to do that. Go afar from my food like a merchant. I want to do that. You know what I'm saying? We gotta want to do these things. We have to find greatness in this. This is what helps us to stand apart. It's easy to call room service. It's easy to DoorDash some food, Uber Eats, Lyft some food. It's easy to go to a fast food restaurant, go through a drive-through, but now you got zits all over your face. Now you a little overweight. Your garment is rent at the front. And certain foods for a woman, it can make your vagina smell bad. I had a friend that's in the faith and the truth, and she was expressed to me how, when she grew up, she used to eat pork. And she was like, it makes your private part smell really bad. My mama didn't raise us eating that type of stuff. So I didn't know that it did that. But it's not a shocker. It's understandable. I could only imagine. So you have to take pride in the things that you put into your body. These are the things that make you stand out. Have any of my sisters that are in this faith that have changed your diet for the good notice people give you compliments about your clear skin or even your luscious hair? Because your very diet changing can even encourage your hair to grow. Do you have yeast infections? You understand what I'm saying? So we have to find luxury or the benefit or the goodness in these things. So we'll reread verse 14 one more time. It says, she is like the merchant's ships. She bringeth her food from afar. Verse 15, I think this is going to be the last verse. It says, she riseth also while it is yet night, and giveth meat to her household, and a portion to her maidens. I want to stop right here because I love this verse a lot. We're going to pick up in verse 15 in the teaching to come. But as always, remember, never cease prayer, bind and loose, and always live ready. I hope that you all enjoy your Shabbat. I am enjoying mine, and I love you all. I love you all so much. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Bye.